like above freezing, which is freaking awesome because I've been freezing my butt off for a month now. You guys ever have these things? Are pretty damn good. All right, talk for today. We're going hard on immigration today. I know everyone wants to talk about Epstein, and everyone's got the little pet issues they want to talk about. This is one that's really important to me, not because I don't like illegal immigrants or I want people to be deported or not deported, but because we have rules in this country. And what I'm always saying to everyone is that if you don't follow the rules, you end up with anarchy, which is kind of what we got going on today. And I'm going to make a case for why things seem like everything's kind of fallen apart and why we can't seem to get back to some semblance of what America used to be, right? So we're going to talk about that today. And I got a bunch of notes for you guys. We're gonna go over the exact statutes that we're using to remove people. We're gonna go over the exact statutes that are keeping people here. And we're gonna talk about basically why we can't do anything in America anymore. Everything takes forever, right? And the funny thing about it is, like, if you break the rules, it's actually easier for you to get into the country. It's easy for you to start projects. It's easy for you to do whatever it is you want to do by just not following the rules. It's actually not that big of a deal anymore, right? Whereas if you follow the rules, it's incredibly difficult to get anything done. And the example I like to use is if you guys want to try and build anything, there's so much permitting. You got to do land surveys. You got to go to the permit office. You got to go deal with some fucktard architect. You got to go talk to some dumb shit inspector, city planner, all these kind of things. There's so much shit that you have to do just to make a building to produce a product to give people jobs. Wildly difficult. Now, if you want to bring people into the country illegally, no problem. Just open up the borders. Done. No one gives a shit. No one's held accountable. Now, if you want to kick anyone out, like, oh, stop the presses. Like, we can't have that. Like, we're not going to be one of these people that, clamps down hard on people or talks down to people or talks bad about people or asks people for stuff that they may or may not have. Once we have to do that, suddenly everybody has an opinion and people would just want to scream and yell and whine. And it's for this purpose that we really struggle to get anything done in America, okay? So that's the kind of stuff we're talking about in our talk today. I'm gonna go full hard on mass immigration, kicking people out, bringing people in, accountability, all these kind of things. So if you don't like profanity, you don't like real talk, then this talk is definitely not for you. So anyway, who am I? What do I do? Right, my name is Eric Wilkin. I'm the Splendid Crow here in St. Louis, Missouri. I am a fine furniture maker. We have a company, we've had a company for about 10 years now. We employ about 8 or 9 people at this point. We do a low 7 figures in revenue, and we've been working this as a family business for, like I said, about 10 years now. Great way to make money, and we really love teaching people how to do things. We like teaching people how to make furniture, how to paint furniture, how to assemble, how to transport, how to deliver, all kinds of things. That's what we do here at this business. We not only deliver furniture to people, but we also teach people how to be employees, how to do this thing of working with your hands, right? Which is one of the issues we're going to talk about today. People that work with their hands, a little bit more grounded than knowledge workers, right? People that are thinkers tend to be a little bit more, tend to have a little more empathy, I guess, right? And one of the problems that we have in America today is suicidal empathy. For some reason, we seem to think that if we're nice to everyone, everyone's going to be nice to us, and everything's somehow going to work out. And I'm here to tell you guys that that is not the case, okay? So we're going to dig into this conversation. Looks like we've got one comment in here already. Let's go. We'll talk to this person real quick, and then I'm going full send. So bring in your comments, add to the discussion, let me know where I'm wrong, where I'm right, but like, we got to right this fucking ship, guys. And if we don't basically tell people to shut the fuck up and stop crying and whining and taking 1 or 2 instances that we don't like and letting that affect millions of other things, then we're never going to make progress on anything, right? If we look at all these states, like the blue states where I come from, the Pacific Northwest, you can't do anything in these states. Everything is a fucking, like a pride-swallowing siege to get done, instead of just simply doing what you need to do, right? So, all right, let's see the first comment, and then we're going to get into the discussion. All right, so Mike Honcho229, congrats. Sounds like you did good in life. I have to get back to work, but I will be subbing. Okay, Mike, thank you for being here, man. I appreciate it. I don't know that I've done good in life. I literally had to move across to America to get where I am today, but I stuck at doing one thing. I only worked for 3 or 4 people my entire life. I shut my fucking mouth and I learned, and I got really good at making furniture. People would probably call me a master craftsperson at this point. The skills that I've learned over my 25 years of doing them have allowed me to start this company, to employ other people, and to teach people what it is that I do. And I hope that I can do that for a lot more people. But if we keep bringing people into this country who are not citizens of this country, then there's gonna be less opportunity for you, for me, for everybody. So, okay, one more comment here. This is Cross 0911. What are you talking about? The Pacific Northwest is great. Okay, great. I'm from the Pacific Northwest. Okay, I come from Corvallis, Oregon. Okay, all my family lives in Portland, and they live in Seattle. Okay, trust me, the Pacific Northwest is not great, dude. And again, as someone who watched the people move up into Oregon and then into Washington from California, I watched my state go from being a fantastic state to being a shithole. Okay, and again, my dad's lived there for his entire life, 70 some years. He doesn't even recognize Oregon anymore. So you've got some anecdotes here, which again, they're all personal, and I have I'm very offended at what has happened in the Pacific Northwest, right? And I'm going to talk about California specifically because California is one of the places that we need to talk about, because if you want to talk about the whole illegal immigration debate, you guys need to understand that California used to be a red state, right? Prior to Ronald Reagan granting amnesty, California voted red. Like, go back and look at the stats, right? California does not vote red now. California is one of the bluest states in the country, and it has fallen into bad shape. You know, and again, people can disagree with me. A lot of people like to live that way, and that's cool. That's a good place for everyone to live, but it's infected other states, and you can't allow that kind of thing, that kind of thinking to move eastward. Like, it's really bad. I live in Illinois. Illinois is technically a red state, but we have one county called Cook County, which is 2/3 of the entire population of the state, right? One little county encompasses 2/3 of the whole state, and it votes wildly blue, and therefore all of us are technically considered blue, and we're not. It's a very red state, to be quite honest with you. So, but yeah, when you get into the conversation, okay, we'll keep going. All right, Cross, we'll get into you. Cross 0911, we'll talk to you good. Okay, where specifically do you get that? I do too, and it is, I've lived here my whole life. California is a donor state that props them. Yes, and this is what everyone says, right? This is what everyone says. And Cross, keep listening to it. And again, I appreciate the back and forth. Like, you and I will probably not agree, but I will be happy to interact with you, and we'll go back and forth about what exactly is going on with the whole illegal immigration and why we can't get anybody out of this country, right? We'll let anybody come in, but we follow every fucking rule when it comes to getting them out, and that's part of the problem. The reason you can't build anything in California, I'm just gonna call it Cross. I hope I'm saying that correctly. The reason your Palisades aren't built right now, is because of all the permitting, of all the people that have a say in doing something for which they don't actually know how to do anything, right? And this is the problem when you let the educated class get into places of power, right? You let some educated knowledge worker into the permitting office when they've never actually built anything in their entire life. Their job is essentially city planning, right? You end up in a situation where the person that is actually doing the work can no longer do his job in an effective and quick manner. And this is the problem with knowledge workers versus doers, right? Knowledge workers aren't too worried about getting shit done, right? They're wanting to make sure they cross the T's and dot the I's. The actual doer is trying to get the fucking project done so we can move on to the next project. They're very different. One works on a salary, one works on either an hourly or a job rate. These two things are wildly in conflict, right? Which is exactly the reason we can't get these people out of this country, right? It's the reason that, again, letting them in, no problem. But getting them out, every knowledge worker, every person with a bachelor's degree, every person in government, every judge, every clerk, every thinker is making it impossible for the people that do the work, the ICE agents, right, to kick these fucking people out of this country, right? And it's a massive problem, okay? All right, let's keep going in here. This is a little witchy one. Well, kind of like witch woman. I grew up in Illinois. Cool. Where did you grow up in Illinois? So I'm in what am I in? I guess I'm in Godfrey. Technically Godfrey, Alton, that kind of area. I live on the Mississippi River. So yeah, I'm curious where you grew up. Maybe you can give us some insight into what your thoughts are on Illinois if you still live there. So okay, LA County alone has a larger economy than all but 4 states, proves an easier path. Yes, but what you have to understand, dude, is that your thinking and your lack of doing has literally pushed out all of the industries that made your state great. And the thing about your state, and I always tell people, it's like, if you cut off the Colorado River, California ceases to exist. It literally ends up looking like Nevada, okay? It ends up being a desert, right? It's the only reason that thing works the way that it does, right? And again, having grown up there, I spent a lot of time in LA, a lot of time in Napa Valley, a lot of time in Sonoma County, right? I love those areas. They're absolutely gorgeous. But the people that live there and their way of thinking make it impossible for the rest of the country to operate the way that it wants to operate, right? When we write textbooks for places like California who believe that men can be women, right? Women can be men, right? They think that, these transgender people should be able to go into locker rooms and you shouldn't be a big deal. There's no judgment, right? Everyone can live how they want to live. Having pink hair and face tattoos, like all that stuff is okay. You live on an economy where billions and billions of dollars are funneled into the state, which is the most beautiful state in the country, by the way. All these dollars are funneled into this place, and your people are allowed to have these crazy thoughts because they don't actually have to pay for anything themselves, right? They have, take places like Stanford, UC Berkeley, UCLA, all these places, Caltech. These are all people that are basically getting free money to live a life that is not real. And so you end up with what we call luxury beliefs, and luxury beliefs literally emanate from that state like no other state. It's fucking wild. And what we're seeing, and again, because I'm a furniture maker, I sell furniture all over the country. All the furniture that I used to send to New York, guess where it's going, Cross? It's not going to New York anymore, right? And your state is about to see exactly how this works. Your tech industry is leaving. Your oil industry is leaving. The only thing you're going to be left with are the parasites. That's all you're going to be left with, dude. So what's going to happen is all the people in New York, they're leaving. They all went to Miami, right? Like all of them. They're all down there. Or they went to Texas and Austin, right? Your tech industry left the most beautiful place on earth. That's how bad you fucked up California. It is literally the most beautiful place on earth. And they're all moving to essentially the desert in Austin, right? A place that has an average of 98 degrees with tons of freaking humidity every day of the week. That's how bad it's gotten, So enjoy California. Talk to me in 10 years, and we'll see how it ends up working out. But I think you guys are going to go from having the 5th largest economy in the world to essentially having something that it doesn't even resemble what it used to be. That's just how I see it. Again, as someone who watched his state get destroyed by California, I'm wildly biased, dude. So let's keep going to your comments, and I'll bat it around because I said my piece. Okay. Let's see here. Little Witch, which one? I was just outside of Arthur. Huge Amish community. Yeah, there's actually quite a few Amish communities in Illinois. I'm always learning interesting things about Illinois the longer that I live. Did you know that Illinois is actually flatter than the state of Kansas? I had no idea. So wild. And actually, Illinois has an insane amount of farmland. I had no idea. Apparently, Illinois has some of the richest soil. It has this black soil. I forget what they call it. And it's just amazing for growing corn. And Illinois is one of the largest corn producers in the country, right? We all think of Iowa, Nebraska, these kind of what we call flyover country. But no, Illinois it's an interesting state. A lot of cool stuff. Okay, let's see. What does that have to do with immigration? Well, it doesn't. But one of the things that I do on these streams is I make sure that I interact with people, and the discussions can go way over here, or they can kind of weave on point. And so sometimes we end up talking about things that have nothing to do with the topic. But one of the things I'm learning about doing my talks is that people tend to get a little annoyed when I don't keep up with comments. So as I'm talking about immigration, I go through all my notes that I have here. I'm trying to go through comments because that's what people have told me they want. One of the things that people really like about YouTube streams is that you get to have the real interaction with real people. The truth is, and I tell you guys this as a business owner and someone that has all the social media platforms, one of the things you end up with in social media is when you watch a person's video on YouTube, the person that's responding to most of the people on the YouTube streams are bots, right? I shouldn't say they're bots. They're called VAs, right? These are people that have access to the person's accounts, and they're auto-replying. Same thing with Instagram, same thing with Facebook. It's very common. The stream, you're only interacting with the person that's talking, right? So you're getting real talk from real people that do real things. And that's one of these, I hope I put forth when I do these talks is that we have a real business, we're real people, and we do real things. And I think that's becoming more popular, and it's gonna essentially overtake a lot of the regular media that we have today. So anyway, so Cross, I hope that explains. Okay. Let's see, how someone else choose to identify, or how they choose to affect you in any, it doesn't, but it's when I have to accept the way that they are that we enter into conflict, right? And this is always the argument. You always get the people that want to be degenerates telling the normies that they have to accept their degeneracy, right? Which means that I have to hire them. I can't, I can't discriminate against them, right? So the person that has a ton of face tattoos with blue hair and earrings and identifies as a puppy, I can't tell that person to get the fuck out of my business and no, I'm not going to deal with you. They end up having problems. And we know this because of what happened in, I believe it was Wyoming, where you had this transgender dude who essentially wanted to go into a woman's sorority, and they couldn't fight this guy. They let him into that woman's sorority, and then you had all these chicks that had to watch this guy hang around with a boner, and I'm not okay with that. That stuff emanates from a state like California. It's where it comes from, which is why I have a massive problem with that state. So you totally triggered me, dude. I'm not gonna lie to you. Like, I've got like deep anger with that particular state. I've watched it screw up so many people that I know. And again, like, there's lots of good people. There's lots of good things about California. It's the most beautiful state in the world. But the thought of the mindset that comes out of a place that is built on tons of knowledge workers and tons of colleges tends to create a very weird individual, in my opinion. So, all right. Lots of illegals in Illinois. And Lil Witch, you're absolutely right. Illinois is actually a state, and California, I'm sure, is the same way, but I don't honestly know. I'm kind of talking out of my butt there. But what you have is where it's very easy to get ID and things like that in Illinois, whereas in Missouri, where my business is at, very difficult. So what you see is you tend to see very few Missouri license plates with those kind of people, tons of Illinois. They're all Illinois. And this is one of the things that we need to talk about, which is ID, right? We're going to talk about voter ID today as well, and why this is such a hot topic. You have to have the rule of law enforced. And when you don't enforce, I always talk about all these streams, you end up with what we have now, which is a wild amount of illegal people in this country doing illegal shit, businesses taking advantage of illegal things, governments taking advantage of all these illegal people, and you end up with a system that no longer works for the American citizen. So that's kind of what we're gonna dig in some more of that. Sorry guys, got a lot of notes coming. Okay, which says yes, flat state. I know, right? I had no idea. Like, I think it's kind of interesting. I don't know. I know people don't want to hear me talk about Illinois, but I thought it was kind of interesting. So anyway, Jaden's here. Jaden 793. Good to see you. Which one? I can and will and do tell them I don't want their money. Yeah. Okay. Jaden 793 started in Germany, Berlin in the 20s. So Jaden, what exactly are you talking about with started in Germany, Berlin in the 1920s? I'm not quite sure what you got going on there. This is Dirty Jersey, S5H, Blacks for Trump. Yeah. And again. Black people can vote for Trump. Black people can vote for whoever they want, just like anyone can vote for whoever they want. And they love to paint Trump as a racist, And again, like, the guy's a fucktard for real, but I don't think the guy's racist, And like, it came out in the Epsteins that he didn't like black chicks, but I don't think that makes you racist if you don't like black chicks, So I think Trump's been good for black people. I think Trump's been good for a lot of workers in general, but he's lied through his teeth on so many things, and that's one of the reasons that I am kind of against this guy. That's why I'm not saying I'm for anybody else and someone's going to be better. I think everyone at this point is corrupt. They're all bad, and they're not working for the American people. And again, if you want to, go, we're going to keep on the immigration thing. If you want to look at what Trump is doing on the immigration front, he ran on mass deportations. He is not doing any of that, right? He started it, right? But in June of 2025, when he started clamping down on businesses, the agriculture community and the hotel community came to him and said, look, dude, you can't do this. It's going to fuck our industry up big time. And so he backed off, right? Which is why you're seeing him go after the criminals and the rapists and the murderers and all these people that he says exist. You're not seeing the deportations that you were seeing back then, right? It isn't happening because the business community told him you can't do this. And he's like, yes, daddy, sure, may I have another? And we're where we're at, So will he change his policy? Is he going to do anything to do what he said he was going to do when he got elected? I don't think so, So that's kind of what I want to talk about. I want to talk about why, if we don't fix this issue, it affects every other issue in our life. And the fear-mongering that experts and the business community put onto the average American puts them in a place where they don't know what to do. So again, as a business owner who has been in business for 10 years, hires and fires people all the time, I'm here to tell you guys that we can fix this. And if we can get more American business owners and more people doing businesses, yes, the cost of things will go up, but so will your salary. And when you make American and sell to American, you get American wages, right? When you have an American business that outsources all the labor or brings in labor, right, and tells you they're going to give you a cheap product, they're not going to pay you what you should be making. And therefore, yes, you're getting a cheaper product, but you're not making any fucking money, so it doesn't matter, right? And your job is not secure because they're always looking to hire someone for cheaper, right? That's the conundrum between the business owner and the employee. And you can say that it's bullshit, but it's skewed really bad for the employer and horribly for the employee. And the immigration debate is part of it, right? So, oops, sorry, guys. So let me get back to what I'm trying to Stay up on comments, guys. I know that people were super annoyed that I get so far behind when we get hundreds of comments coming in. So I don't know if we'll get hundreds of comments today. So, okay. So what I want you guys to understand is we've got a federal statute here, okay? The federal statute is 8 USC 1325, right? This is the rule that everyone talks about, that they love to say, well, when you come into America, it's not an infraction, right? It's not something that's punishable by jail. It's not anything. They call it a civil penalty, right? And the thing is that the first time you come in the country, and again, this goes back to what I'm telling you guys about all of the red tape, all of the people that have an opinion, all of the legal scholars, all of the judges. These people are fucking it up for the entire country. It's gone too far, okay? So you have this statute, right? So the first time you come in, the actual verbiage is the first offense is a misdemeanor, right? That's what it boils down to. It's punishable by 6 months in jail, and that's it, right? So the second offense, right, saying you try and come back in, right, then it is punishable by up to 2 years in prison, right? So the penalty in and of itself is almost non-existent, right? There's almost no penalty, right? And the truth is that once you come in, once you're in here, it is damn near impossible to get you out. The amount of resources, be them human, capital, like money, right? The amount of resources that it takes to get you out is damn near impossible. You're talking courts, you're talking removal orders, you're talking all this bureaucratic red tape, and it's there specifically to beat people down, right? To make it so hard to get them out that you don't try. And this is the thing that we've got to fix in this country. If we don't fix the verbiage on this USC 1325, there's no way to get these guys out, right? So how is Trump even able to do what he's able to do right now, okay? So the rule that Trump is using it's called expedited removal, and it's section 235B of the Immigration and Nationality Act, okay? And this essentially allows him to slide past a lot of the red tape and essentially deport people simply because they can't produce papers, okay? Now, I'm gonna tell you guys a story real quick, and then I'll go through comments again, okay? Here's a story. A lot of people say that asking people for their papers is illegal, or they're saying it's immoral. They'll use any kind of judgment they want. Okay, here's the thing. When you come into America, if you are a green card holder or if you are a visa holder, you have to have, by law, your papers on you at all times. Your green card has to be with you at all times, okay? Now, for some reason, we seem to think that the people that come in here legally or illegally don't have to have papers. I don't know what that is, but someone in our family literally they were down in Texas, and they literally got asked by immigration, are you legal, right? And this is a person who has a green card, didn't have it on him, right? So the immigration officer basically chewed his ass, right? And then come to find out that you literally do have to have this on you. The person that had the green card didn't even know it, right? So there are a lot of rules and a lot of ways that we have to conduct ourselves as American citizens that a lot of people don't understand, right? Just like your driver's license. If you're going to drive, you got to have your driver's license, right? We don't seem to think you have to have a license to vote, right? Or any kind of ID to vote, but to drive a car, it's okay. To get on an airplane, it's okay. To go pay your taxes, to go do pretty much anything, you have to have it, right? To go into a movie, you want a beer, got to have it. But for some reason, the most important thing that we have in America, not interested, right? So, as someone who gets to have an opinion, has a conversation with people out here, I'm here to tell you guys that the people that think that you shouldn't have an ID to vote are out of their fucking minds. They're out of their fucking minds, okay? And I've heard this, we're kind of in a low income area, right? I've heard this before, that black people don't carry IDs. It's just not a thing. Like, they don't have to have IDs. They don't want to have IDs. They often will drive without IDs. And they'll say, well, black people, they just can't do this. It's not fair to them. They'll always point to black people. I don't know why this is. Yet if you go talk to a black person, all of them will say, yeah, I've got an ID. I've got an ID. Like, it's good. It's not a problem. Like, I need ID to buy alcohol. I need ID to buy cigarettes. I need ID for all kinds of things. But the politicians and the people that are the lawmakers, they'll always point to, well, we can't do this because of these people. Like, I've never met a black person that couldn't get an ID, or that didn't have an ID, I should say. They all have these IDs, and they're given out by the state. It's not a driver's license. It's essentially a form of identification, right? So I wasn't going to get into that right away, but it's kind of messed up, right? I mean, we don't want people to have ID to vote, but we are more than happy to, say we need ID to fly or to drive or to do a myriad of other things. You want to get a loan for anything, you got to have ID, right? You want to do pretty much anything, you got to have ID, except to vote, which Kind of interesting, right? And then we were talking to the guy from California, and the guy from California loves to talk about, how amazing California is. And the truth is that that state is overrepresented from a representative standpoint, right? The amount of people that are in their government on one side, because when you do the census doesn't distinguish between legal and illegal, right? So if you just got a whole shit ton of people in here, like you're one of these loser fucking sanctuary city people, when you bring those people in, it allows your census to be skewed in favor of the people that are going to vote for you or that want your benefits, right? So you end up with more representation in Congress. It doesn't work on the Senate side, it works on the House side. A lot of people don't understand how this works. And so when they see these people coming in, they just think that they just want work. They just want this, and why shouldn't we help them? And I don't disagree with that, but the law says you can't fucking do that. You cannot come into this country. You have to get out. You don't belong here. You have to come in the right way. And the truth is the reason you do this is because coming in the right way is so goddamn hard. It's almost impossible. Coming into America legally it's almost a fool's errand. It's so difficult, which is one of the reasons everyone comes in illegally, right? It's one of the reasons that Republicans look the other way and Democrats look the other way. Democrats want voters, and they want people that they can funnel welfare to, and the Republicans want workers. They want cheap workers, workers that won't ask questions, workers that won't sue, workers that don't care about healthcare, dental, anything. They just want an opportunity to work. And this is why everybody looks the other way. And this is my thing, accountability. You have to follow the law. If you don't follow the law, you got to go. And I don't know why we can't get anyone to talk about this the way that it needs to be talked about, right? I mean, that dude in Minnesota that got killed, Alex Pretty or something like that. Like, again, like those people, I don't know. There's nothing on this earth that I would go protest for. But this guy, you couldn't get this guy away from it. Like, all these people are out there protesting ICE, and again, like, don't these people understand that we have rules in this country? Like, what is their rationale for not wanting these people to be kicked out? They're just bleeding hearts, like suicidal empathy people. Like, what the fuck is going on? And then these people get all of the attention, right? The media just fucking loves these people. Oh, look at these, this is all Che Guevara types, like what? Why do these people get any time? I don't understand. Meanwhile, the people like me try and run businesses, are pissed off about how fucking expensive housing is, insurance, how expensive everything is in this country, in most part because of business consolidation. It's not because of the American worker wants too much money. It's because of consolidation. When you have a corporation that gives shit tons of money to shareholders, shit tons of money to C-suites, shit tons of money to managers, the people that do the real work, they don't get paid. And then if they want to get paid, they bring in the third world. This is why everything you guys have is so fucking expensive. Instead of being able to go down to the butcher, which used to pay $30,000, $40,000, $50,000 a year back in the 70s, right? You got to go to Walmart, where the butcher doesn't even exist anymore, right? You got to go to Schnucks or Publix or one of these other places where the butcher isn't even a thing. So these jobs that we used to have, they don't exist anymore. And we think that we're getting a deal because we look the other way when Tyson and Cargill bring in tons of slave labor into America and we can get chicken for $9 a pound when it used to be $3. We think we're getting a deal. We're not. Instead, we're getting people that aren't able to make a living wage anymore. Like, it doesn't exist because, again, these corporations don't have to hire Americans. They'll put you all on welfare. They'll put you on welfare before they hire you guys. And same thing, you fuckers coming out of college, that think you're told, go get $100,000 in debt and you're going to come out making $100,000 a year. You can pay it off and life's going to be great. They're doing the same thing to you guys. You're all fucking baristas working at, the convenience store because you can't get a job with the degree you have. You're going to end up on welfare. You're going to end up paying UBI. And again, the people like me or the business owners, like, we're going to fucking end up paying for everything, which is horseshit. You need more businesses that make American shit like we do here. We make American furniture with American people. We pay American wages. None of my people bitch about the cost of living. None of my people bitch about life. None of my people are crying about nothing. More businesses. We need more American companies. Kick the fucking third world out. Kick the people that are here. Kick them all out. Yes, things will get expensive. It will be tough for probably 2 or 3 years. But guess what? You will all reap the benefits. The people that are running the country, the people that are running these large corporations, they will all hate it, but it will get better. And that's my spiel. All right, let's go through the comments, guys. Sorry. I'm a big advocate, guys, for American-made products. I mean, massive advocate. Okay, Jaden. Okay, that's right, Jaden. You said something. I need to go back to see what you said first. Let's see. Jaden said they started in Germany, Berlin. Yeah, the whole transgender stuff. Yeah, I heard that. You know, and I heard that was one of the reasons that like Hitler came in. It was one of the things that he was using was this idea of having all these transgender people around. He was able to use that as a tool essentially to do it. But what he did, I could be wrong. I'm not a massive historian. So okay, this is little witchy what? Little witchy what? Is that something to do with that Eagles song? Is that witch a woman that sings is that the Eagles? I don't remember. But anyway, okay, I'm not quite. Want to tell a blue-haired puppy to leave? I'm not quite to tell a blue-haired puppy. I usually get other customers literally clap. Yeah, and you know, I mean, here's another a great example, a little witchy one to what you're saying is like, do you guys remember here? Like, I want to say it was like maybe 4 or 5 years ago. You had like an epidemic of all these fucking weirdos that wanted to get onto airplanes with their goldfish and like pet snake, cats, dogs. They called them emotional support animals, right? That was a moment where we should have told these people, go fuck yourself, right? When you want to bring your fucking dog or your cat onto an airplane with all these other people that are paying, right? That's where your rights end. When they infringe on somebody else's, but they didn't. You know, they, for whatever reason, they couldn't tell these crazy cat ladies, like, stuff that cat up your ass and get the fuck out of here. Like, we're not serving you. So then it became okay. Then the crazier, you know, the lady with the goose, right? The lady that, you know, like I said, there was literally someone with a snake. The goose one was crazy, you know, but people want to bring, like I said, goldfish, and it's, we let people's weirdness be okay, right? And then the academics and all the people that went to college, the people that make the rules, right? The smart people, they then say, well, no, we gotta appease these people, right? We gotta make sure they're heard, you know, and we end up with a country where everything is okay, right? And then it ends up being that nothing is okay, you know, so we got to get back to a standard in America, which is to follow the letter of the law, right? When the letter of the law doesn't work, you can go in and change the law. But now you guys notice that Congress doesn't do anything. All they do is pass spending bills. That's it. You know, and they pass spending bills and then they print money so that they can, again, appease the people that want to give out welfare and then the people that want tax cuts, the large corporations and the parasites. That's what they're doing. And so everybody gets what they want, which is not how this country is supposed to work. It's not supposed to be like that. And it's freaking irritating. Okay, all right, so this is a Joe PapCH3153. Joe, good to see you. I'm glad you're here. Hit the like button, guys. Add a discussion. Let's kick things around. What I said, we're talking real talk about illegal immigration. We're talking about why we can't kick people out, why it's so easy to bring people in here, why the politicians love both sides of the argument. Right? The politicians are not working for you. They're working for the parasite class, and they're working for the large corporations. The person in the middle that just wants to make a decent living, have a couple of kids, you know, maybe go on vacation once a year, they don't give a fuck about you guys. So anyway, hopefully we can paint that picture today. Okay, this is Dirty Jersey. I think, yep, you're in here before. Thank you for coming in. Thank you for letting me have my own opinion on who I wanted to vote for. I appreciate it. Again, I don't think it matters who you vote for, guys. Like, I don't know if you guys, like, put it in the comments. Do you guys think that it matters who you vote for? 75 million people voted for Trump on the platform of mass deportations. The minute it got hard, Trump backed down. The minute it got hard. Again, easy to pass tax cuts because everyone wants the taxes. You guys think the blue people don't want the tax cuts? They do, right? Democrats want the tax cuts because they're actually for big business. The Republicans, right, they want taxes for big business as well. The thing that they don't want is they don't want you to start your own business because that's competition for their buddies, right? They want the consolidation of everything. You know, and if you guys look at it, the amount of small business that we have here in America today is half of what it used to be. Go back to the 1970s, right, when business was freaking booming. Again, where did all the businesses go? Where did all the entrepreneurs go? They're gone. You know how hard it is to start a business today? The reason it's so hard to start a business is because you're competing with large corporations, you're competing with illegal labor, you're competing with a third world where everything gets manufactured. If you want to try and hire your neighbors, you want to hire the people that live in your community, no fucking way. It's not happening, right? And you're like, well, hey, I'm hiring an American. Why don't I get a tax cut for my little business here so that I can compete with the people that are paid $2.50 an hour in China? They're not going to give it to you. Now, if you want to go to college, you want to take out $100,000 in loans as an 18-year-old, they give you all the fucking money you want. You want to start a small business? No, hold on, right? So you guys see kind of what's going on. It's like they'll do anything to keep you guys poor. Anything to keep you poor. Anything to keep you from doing your own thing and challenging the status quo. It's bad news. So, okay, but Dirty Jersey, yeah. take your opinion, and that's the whole thing. You guys want to be able to talk about whatever it is you want to talk about. That's why I'm so frustrated with this whole TikTok thing. Like, I'll never go on that platform. Like, this idea that you can just censor people for saying certain kinds of things, like, that is not good, right? It's horrible. I did talk yesterday about the reason that the media companies will never touch this whole Epstein thing is because all the people that watch that kind of media are in the demographic that supports all that shit, right? That supports all the conspiracy countries and all the conspiracy people. They're never going to talk about it, So, okay, which is technically is a form of censorship, by the way. All right, it says Popped Kitty. This is horrific. Okay, what is horrific? Yeah, but don't you think that it's unrealistic? Do you think that it's ethical to demand papers any moment of every day? I heard this argument today, and again, it's not an either-or thing. Like, this is the thing that people don't understand, right? They're just like, well, if you can do that, then you could do it any time of day. When you go out to drive, do people ask for your driver's license when you're in your car? No, they don't ask for your driver's license all the time. Like, it's ridiculous. Nobody would accept that, right? That would essentially be harassment, right? And you could go to the courts and you could adjudicate that, So this idea that carrying an ID around and being asked for an ID is somehow some horrible thing, right? When you go to the airport and they ask you for ID, you don't go, hey, wait a minute. No, you're just like, yeah, okay, it makes sense. So again, if you are let's say you're a black person, right? And you're in a neighborhood that's known for drugs, right? And you kind of fit the description of some people that are being looked for. Are you going to be offended that you get asked, right? Are you just going to say, oh, fuck you, man? Like, no way. Like, there has to be a level of understanding between the people that write the rules, the people that enforce the rules, right? Like, there has to be a little bit of an agreement there. So I don't buy this idea that people are just going to go around asking for ID all the time. Like, that's a kind of a ridiculous argument, in my opinion. Now, if you're on the job site and everyone is brown and ICE shows up and they're like, we just want all the brown people, I don't need the white people. Again, is that, what do you call that, profiling? Are you saying that that's terrible? Like, what exactly are you saying? Like, when is it okay to ask somebody for ID? I love that argument because I think it's so ridiculous. And again, these are the arguments you get from, like, again, experts, people in academia, people that don't live in reality. I hear those kind of arguments all the time. It's just like the small business experts talking about what's good for small business going on Fox News, and then you look in their background, you find out they've never started a small business in their life. They're an MBA, and they've basically just been on boards their entire life. Like, how the fuck is that person qualified to talk about small business? They're not. And again, I hope that a lot of these streams that we do here on YouTube and the ones that are done on like X and stuff like that, I hope you guys start to see that you're being propagandized by people. Like, a small business expert on television will almost never push anything that is not good for big business. They'll only push for things that are good for all businesses, not specifically small businesses, right? And when you do that, it makes it impossible for the small business to get ahead. It just does, That's why when they push for tax cuts, it's always the businesses that get the permanent tax cuts, and the citizens they sunset in 5 years. They sunset in 7 years. And it's no bueno, guys. You guys are losing every day of the week. All right. So I guess Pop Kitty. I hope that answers your question. Again, I welcome the pushback and I appreciate the pushback, and I'll go back and forth with you as honestly as I possibly can. So, okay. Let's see. Pop Kitty again says no. They are demanding papers at any time. It's not situational. Okay. Well, I disagree. And again, I just laid out the fact, if you're one of these people that, and I'll use the word stereotype, I believe in stereotype, and I think it's fantastic. But if you're one of these people that stereotype in a situation, you should ask for papers, 100%. And again, I don't think that they are, I don't think they're going into places specifically looking to harass people, right? And you could fix all this, Pop Kitty, if we would just go to the places where all of this illegal activity is. We won't do that. We're not going to go to construction sites. We're not going to go to the agricultural place. We're not going to go to the meat processing plants. We're not going to go to the restaurants. We're not going to go to the hotels, which is where all of this stuff is, right? We're dancing around where the real problem is because, again, guys, and I'm a broken record on this thing. If you got rid of all these people, every business in America says, you'll kill my business. You're going to kill the economy. You're going to hurt everyone. You're going to make prices go up, right? What happens when they have to hire you to do that roofing job, or you got to drive the combine on the farm, right? What happens? They got to pay you an American wage. And when you say, well, no, I'm not going to work for less than $24 an hour, and I want health care, they're going to say, well, I can't afford that, right? And then you're going to say, well, you're no longer in business. I'm sorry, your business model doesn't work. If your business model only works because you break the rules, we don't have a country, guys. We don't have a country. And again, you think you're getting cheap everything, and the truth is you're not getting cheap everything. You're getting cheap things because your wage that you would be making otherwise is also cheap. It's being brought down. It's not where it should be, and it's a major problem. So I hope that kind of makes sense. You don't have to agree with me, but that's kind of where I'm at on this thing. So no, they are demanding. Okay, anytime. Okay, I read that one. Pop Kitty says my wait time for my real ID is 2 months. The fuck am I supposed to do in the meantime? Well, this is the thing, right? So why is it that are you in Illinois? What? Let me know what state you're at. I'm kind of curious. But so this is the thing that you have to wait for. My guess is that they gave you something in the interim, right? So like when we go to the DMV to get things like driver's license and things like that, they always give us this goofy little printout thing that we have to keep that gets ripped up and shredded. It's kind of a pain in the butt, but they generally give you something. So I'm kind of curious exactly how that real ID process works. I don't know exactly how that works, but if you could fill me in, I'd be much obliged. So, and again, why do you need an ID? I'm kind of curious. Is because you don't have a driver's license? Are you saying that you're not here legally? Did you not get your ID when you came in the country? Like what part of this equation am I missing? Did you lose your driver's license and you need an ID? So fill me in on that one, and we'll work our way back to you. So, okay, Little Witchy One says, I work with people with green cards. They all know they have to keep it on the person at all time. That's good, and I'm glad you said that. It's super important. I would imagine that when you come into this country, you actually are told these things. My guess is that some people forget it, or they just gloss over it, or they don't think that it's a real thing, or they don't think that it's not enforced like a million other rules in this country. So yeah, great. I'm glad you said that. It's very true. If you're going to be in the country as a green card holder, you have to have that thing on you at all times. And like I said, this person that I'm talking about didn't know, and they sure as shit know now. And they were super pissed off that they were getting harassed by immigration when actually immigration was doing their job. And a lot of people think that immigration is just harassing people, and the truth is that they're not. They're just doing their job. Media likes to paint this picture that these people are, they've got big man syndrome. They're these people that were, they didn't get their respect in college or they're in high school. So now they're just looking to beat up on people and be the big man. And it's not true, guys. Like, I'm here to tell you guys, if you ever need someone that is a person like that, these, they used to paint the cops as being all these assholes, and they got, they didn't get what they wanted out of high school, so they went into be police officers so they could have power over people. Trust me, if you have to use the police, you want those people. I want someone. I'll tell you guys some stories if you want. I've been robbed a couple of times, Yeah, fuck it. I'm gonna tell you guys. So when I was in Kansas, I lived in Wichita, Kansas for a long time, and one day. My wife came home and the door was kicked in, right? And so, of course, she calls me right away and then calls the cops. I'm just like, don't go in there. Like, call the cops, wait for the cops. Well, I got there like right when the cops showed up, right? So we had 2 cops show up, and these cops, they went in there ready to fucking murder people, right? They're like, you guys stay back. We're gonna go in here and don't come in till we come out. And they went in guns ready to. They were ready to fucking kill people. And I felt so much better knowing that those people went in there knowing that what was happening there was wrong, and they were going to go correct that wrong. And I want more of that, right? So when I see these people coming around asking for papers and dragging people out of cars, out of homes, out of work, wherever, that is what I voted for. Not because I don't like these people, not because I don't want them to be here, because it's the fucking law. And this is the thing with our government. Our government doesn't want to fix the law, right? Like the law, it's very difficult to get anybody out. Right? Then grant them amnesty. If you don't want to get rid of them, grant them amnesty. But nobody wants to do that. Like, you guys see this? Like, this is literally the problem. So if we just literally closed the border and didn't let anybody in here to begin with, all the businesses would be crying for labor, right? They'd be, we need labor. We got to have this. They would then fix the immigration law. We would have enough immigration judges. We would have enough departments to issue the visas. We would have enough people to get people in here, bring the housing up, up to speed, right? You guys realize we don't have enough housing because we've let so many people into this country. The healthcare is so expensive because we don't have enough healthcare for the people that are here. The schools are fucked up because we don't have enough teachers for the schools, right? For all the people that are in here. That's why we got all these bilingual programs and all this shit going on. We're not prepared for it because it's not done in an orderly fashion. And this is the problem, right? You have to do something at some point. It's either get everyone out or grant amnesty. Those are kind of your choices. You can't half-ass everything in life. You just can't. As business owners, we can't do that shit. It's either the shit fucking works or it doesn't work. If it doesn't work, guess what? You're losing money. You're going out of business. If it does work, you're making money. You're hiring people. You're growing your business. There is no middle ground. And these guys want to have middle ground forever. And it needs to stop. Okay. Let's come back in here some more. So, okay, yeah, Little Witchy One says, yep, yeah, green card holders know they have to have it on them all times. That's awesome. Let's see, IRAP21, show your ID papers. You guys, so you can just look me up. Like I'm at the resplendentcrow.com. Like, so that's one of the things that I do. More people need to do this, right? If you're a business owner, if you're a real person, put your real name out there, right? I tell you guys my name, I tell you my business, I tell you guys everything about my life because I'm a real person. And I think that what we're learning, or at least what I hope you guys are seeing from if you watch multiple streams, is that you get real people on here. These aren't people that, claim to be one thing and then do another, right? Like I have a real business, I'm a real person, and I hope that my perspective is a real perspective. I hope people value that, and that's why they're here. So anyway, if you guys are in the stream, hit the like button, add the discussion, and we'll keep going through comments, and I'll try and get back to my notes, but people have told me they want me to go through the comments and interact with people a little bit more and not fall so far behind on comments. So I'm working on this stuff. So who is this? This is Lou Becker 8784. Preach, bro. Yep. Thanks, Lou. Bro got comments. Yeah. Well, again, the media and politicians, they're just trying to pit the poor against the wealthy, the haves against the have-nots, black people against white people, brown people against, Asian people. It's just this constant, like, nobody can agree on anything. Like, if I think there's one thing we could all agree upon, it's the rule of law. And when the rule of law is not enforced with extreme prejudice, you allow people to fight each other, right? Just like we have this thing called sanctuary cities, right? We have a federal law stating if you come into this country, you're essentially a criminal, right? And again, it's only a misdemeanor. But when a city says, well, you know what? If you come in, you can just stay here. It's not a big deal. Like, we're not going to worry about it. Like, how that was able to happen, I can't wrap my head around, right? Because nothing supersedes federal law, right? So clearly the feds didn't care that the sanctuary city thing became a thing, which if anyone knows how that is allowed to work, I would love to know. And then again, the money that comes into the federal government that goes to the states, it seems to be like the states that are harboring sanctuary cities are the states that seem to have the most fraud, right? And we had a guy in here earlier claiming that, California is the largest state in the country. It's the 5th largest economy in the world, and it was just talking to, how great California is. Well, my guess is California is also the state with the largest fraud. California just happens to be the state that has the most billionaires and business owners leaving. They always conveniently leave that part out. So yeah, there's goofy stuff going on here. Okay, let's see. IRAP21, cry baby, bye. All right, dude. Have a good day. Thanks for coming in and hit the like button, add the discussion. I appreciate your comment, man. Have a great day. I see. I work on a farm to table farm. Oh, that's fantastic. That's really cool. So I support people like you. I think that the idea that Americans won't work agriculture is one of the most offensive things that you could possibly say. We've hoodwinked America into thinking that we can't build houses anymore. We can't work agriculture anymore. We can't do, work the meat industry anymore. We can't, hell, we can't even like box. If you go to any restaurant, it's like people aren't even in restaurants anymore. Like this whole, we've had this complete loss of pride in certain kinds of work, and it is all academia's fault. we basically told everyone that, you're not going to have to do any of this work anymore. You're going to go get some knowledge work. And guess what? You're going to get to work in a cubicle. You're going to be a manager. You're going to be the one cracking the whip instead of the one doing the work. And it worked for about 20 years, right? And it only worked because during that 20 years, we were sending all the work that is beneath us to the third world. Or we would bring people into this country, again, thwarting federal law. For 20 years, we've been doing this, guys. And now that we can't seem to outsource any more work, or there's nothing left to build, or we've got so many people in here that it's a major problem, we're in a situation now where we got a bunch of people that don't know what to do. They can't get jobs. They can't make the money that they need to live a respectable life, and it's creating major problem. And now that people are saying, well, hey, fuck this, we need to go the other direction. Well, now suddenly all the rules apply. Have you guys noticed this? Like suddenly every rule you can possibly come up with it applies. Like every judge is just like, well, no, we got all the time in the world to tell you can't kick somebody out, but we got no time to tell you whether or not they can come in. It's all kinds of fucked up, guys. And the people that are working on the farms, like I know a lot of people here in Missouri that are in the wine industry, right? We got a big wine industry here. And these aren't what you think it is. It's not like it's a whole bunch of everything's just illegal labor. Like it doesn't work like that. Like I'm sure there's some of it, but you see a lot of families working their land, and that's still a thing, guys. Like I know it seems like a little bit like pie in the sky and like I'm a little bit delusional, but I've seen it with my own eyes. Like it exists. It's not gone. Like I grew up on a farm. I grew up on a Christmas tree farm, and yeah, I'm sure there was a lot of illegal labor there as well. But at the same time, like we worked that freaking land. Like this is a family business. Where are all the family business? So little witchy one, I hope that you are a family business and that you are working your land in an ethical way and selling to local restaurants. I think that's freaking awesome. So really cool business. If you got a website or anything you want to throw out there, put it in the comments. I'd love to go see what it is that you do because I think that's really cool. Okay, random user NP9, I remember you. You look like a gay architect. Okay, well, I'm a gay furniture maker, I guess. Even though I've been married for a long time, but we'll go with it. So thanks for the comment, man. Hit the like button. All right, Ronald Self E9Z. I'm glad I made the right choice. 1975, signing up for membership Arctic Circle game, Refugee Alaska. You have to fill me in on that one, dude. I'm not quite sure what you got going on. Signed up for membership Arctic Circle game, Refugee Alaska. Not sure what that means, but anyway, beautiful, beautiful state there. Okay, this is Kehaho Ted. Hello from, I guess that's Phoenix, right? Phoenix is pretty cool. I haven't actually been to Phoenix. I haven't been to Phoenix. I need to get over there. I send so much furniture to Scottsdale, which I believe is just outside of Phoenix. It's kind of like your rich suburb from kind of what I understand. But yeah, we send furniture to Scottsdale, maybe not regularly, but several pieces a year. So all right, this is Ronald Self C. Says hi, Ronald Self. Glad to see you, dude. Glad you're here. This is Nick Wilden. Nick's back. All right, 5065. Your idea of how the country is supposed to be is your opinion. Oh, of course. And again, and I want you guys to understand that, and I want to hear your opinion, right? Like that's the whole back and forth. Like I'm one of these people that I'm always looking for more information. I'm surrounded by a lot of people from a lot of different countries. I have a lot of different thoughts. I'm surrounded by people that have master's degrees, that have PhDs in physics. I'm surrounded by a lot of different people, and we all disagree, if I'm being 100% honest, but we all listen to each other, right? We all bat it kind of back and forth, and that's what makes this country great. But we all agree on the rule of law, and that's... you got to have an anchor. Like if you're going to discuss things with people, like there has to be an anchor on your beliefs. And if you don't believe in the rule of law, then we can't have an honest discussion, right? Because that means that you can subvert anything I say. You can object to anything I say by living in with a completely different set of rules, right? So that's kind of where I'm at. So glad you're here, man. And again, let's hear your opinion. Let's see what it says. It does matter. Okay, this is Ronald Self again, E9Z. My nearest neighbor is 260 miles away, Arctic Circle game, refugee. Oh, wow. Okay, I see what you're saying. You're like a homesteader, man. You're like out. Man, I always wanted to do that. Like I was one of those guys that, like, I just got kind of fed up with, like, all the people and all the traffic and all the noise. And I honestly thought, like, how cool it would be to just, go find some land, out by whatever, Juneau or one of these, big cities you guys have over there, and get out away from everyone, like to where I could be close enough to get to the city in a day if I needed to, but like far enough to where I wouldn't have to see people. Like I love the idea of building a home, having a wood burning fireplace, shooting, skinning, fishing, all those kind of things. Like it's such a pipe dream, but man, I really thought that'd be kind of cool, So it sounds like you kind of do a version of that, and especially when you look at the way solar energy has come, wind energy has come along. It seems like you could set up wind or solar or something like that, and have a decent amount of electricity, even if you were essentially relying on whatever diesel fuel and wood, as your main heat source and energy source, So yeah, man, I think that's really cool, man. You'll have to elaborate on exactly how did that happen. I'm very curious, Ronald. That sounds pretty cool, man. Okay, Work in progress 101. You're doing a good job keeping me poor. They are doing a good job keeping me poor. Work in progress, elaborate on that. What do you mean? Who is they? Are we talking about immigrants? What are we talking about here? Talking about the federal government. So, all right. So, which one? So, I don't know what all these people put these emojis on here, and I guess I'm out of the loop. I guess I need to bone up on what all these emojis mean. All right, Nick Weldon back in here again. This dude couldn't keep up with his chart. Again, I was trying to I'm trying to go through comments. I've taken the feedback from people, but like some of these streams, we get just hundreds of comments coming through, and it's very difficult. Especially, I like to run my mouth. That's why I'm on here. Okay, Steve2273 says, "Let's go ICE." Yeah, and again, like I said, Steve, like I'm one of these people. Like again, if you want to give amnesty, right? You want to make the rules different, make the rules different, but you can't just ignore the rules, which is what is happening. And then you get ICE following the rules, right? ICE is following Section 235, right, which is what they're using of the Immigration and Nationality Act, and people lose their fucking minds. Are we just going to follow some rules but not all the rules? Are we just going to look the other way when it benefits us? It's at some point as a country, we got to be willing to say, like, no, like we have to follow the rules. We have these rules for a reason, and a lot of people just don't think that way. And I don't know how to have a conversation with those people, but I'm trying. So Little Witchy One, Nick, you don't even have a channel. Okay. Well, that's, again, Little Witchy One, that's, a lot of people get on here and they just like to get a reaction out of people. They don't have anything going for themselves, and maybe they're just working a normie job with a normal life, and there's nothing wrong with that, but they're not putting their opinion out there, right? They're not putting their life's work at risk by having an opinion. A lot of people just want to basically hang out behind a screen or behind their home and not participate in what's going on in the world, and again, that's why I feel like as an employer, right, someone that creates jobs, someone that tries to make other people's lives better, through teaching them skills, paying them wages, giving them a place to do something. I feel like what I do is really important, So, okay, Nick Weldon, ever heard of Cherry Stop? No, I haven't. Let me know what it is. This is we got Daryl McClure, 580 in here. It's called a roll call. Okay. Sure what's going on there. Steve2273, can we get some ice in Los Angeles? I think they were there, but like I was talking about before earlier, Steve, like basically in June of last year, 2025, the Trump administration stopped doing the enforcement that would really work, like going to the places where all these people are, right? Which would be your construction site, your meat packing sites, your agricultural sites. Like you're never going to see it in California, right? Because like Napa would be decimated, right? Calistoga, decimated, right? The idea that these rich fucks would have to get out there and actually do some work on their own, or maybe have some fucking kids and make them work the land if it's so important to you. Like have those fuckers work the land instead of sending them to Caltech to get their mind all fucked up, or sending them to, where Stanford to get another fucking law degree. Like that's what we need. Like we need more lawyers. Like give me a break, man. But it'll never happen, dude. Like it's just big ag, big business. It sounds cliche at this point. These people just have a lock on this country, and when they say, oh, you can't get rid of people, it's going to raise the prices of everything. I'm telling you guys, that is what has to happen. And again, it would suck for a year or two, but you think these large corporations are just going to go out of business? Like they're not, right? They will pay what they have to pay. They will raise their prices, and they will attempt to inflate everything more than they've already inflated it, right? But the truth is that if they would just hire Americans, it would compress their margins, right? They wouldn't make as much in bonuses. They wouldn't be able to send as much money to their shareholders, but people could have meaningful work. People could have work that feels really good. Being able to see what you do every day is pretty awesome. I think, so. All right, let's see. This is user LE4PL. God dang, dude, you have a lot of characters in your name. Okay. Hi, this is a racist channel or a non-racist channel. There's no racism here. Nothing like that. We're kind of realists, you know. And again, I always tell people like I'm married to an immigrant. Like my best friend's a Blaxican. Like I don't. Again, people always say that kind of stuff, and then you know people just disregard. Like I don't know what your litmus test is for racist, not racist. I got no idea, you know. But appreciate the comment, guys. Hit the like button, add the discussion, and we'll keep batting it around. So let's see, land to home. Not everything is about. Yeah, and man, land to home, great point. Like, and this is what people that have a weak argument bring up. This is I hear this kind of stuff all the time. You know, it's like I talk about my business. Like we started this business all with black people. When we started growing and requiring better quality, better work standards, a little more rigid workplace, like they all left. Like they couldn't handle it. You know, and it's not a racism thing. It's because we literally tried to hire from the community. They just, for whatever